Good morning, everyone. Today we have with us a scientist, the man behind the gigantic leap of Gujarat in the sequencing of novel coronavirus. At the onset, we are thankful to Professor C.G. Joshi sir that he has spared his valuable time to give us an interaction so that the scientific fraternity, particularly students, can benefit from the experience of him in this entire exercise. Before starting the interview, let me request Mr. Dipanjan Mukherjee to give brief introduction of Professor C.G. Joshi sir. Mr. Dipanjan.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Dipanjan Mukherjee, and I'm representing New Delhi Publishers, the publisher of the leading magazine in the field of biological sciences, BioFrontier. And on behalf of New Delhi Publisher, I would like to invite you all in this Bio Chronicle section, where we will have an interview with the most distinguished personality in the field of biological sciences. And this Chronicle section is organized in association with Vigyan Gujri, Gujarat. And today we have Dr. C.G. Joshi sir, who is serving as the director in Gujarat Biotechnological Research Center, Gandhinagar. He had experience of more than 33 years in agricultural universities, published more than 200 research publications with more than 3,700 citations, 29 H-index, and more than 100 I-10 index. I would like to thank him for his valuable time for this interaction, and very much thankful for accepting this invitation in this busy schedule. We are very thankful to you, sir. I would also like to thank our editor-in-chief of India's first ever bi-monthly magazine, BioFrontier, which is aspiring higher education for biological in India and abroad. Dr. Amit Bhalani ji, Natubhai Patel College Pure Science and Pure and Applied Science, Anand, Gujarat, and Dr. Kavit Mehta, Ganpat University, for their valuable time in their busy schedule to make this event fruitful and successful. I'm very thankful to you, all of you, and especially in this pandemic situation. Now, if I'm talking about New Delhi Publisher, it is basically, we are leading publishers in books and journals in the field of biological science, agriculture, veterinary science, and others. We published many competitive books in CSIR Net Life Science, GATE-B, Agricultural Biotechnology, and many more. We have published international journals, and one of the many prestigious journals, that is Journal of Animal Research, which have a NAS rating of more than 5.64. And many more details are available in our website, that is ndpublisher.in. With all the institution moving towards online examination, we are also going to launch a complete online test, which is fully searchable and can be accessed anytime. This will be the one-stop solution with test papers, practice, and mock tests, which covering major competitive exams like NET, SET, GATE-B, JRF, SRF, and many more. It will give you the updated pool of questions, and all the questions are unique and explanations are provided for all, which you might not be able to find in many books. A complete customized searchable data optimization panel. Very soon we will launch the website and we will post in all our social media pages. Now, BioFrontier is a bi-monthly magazine for the highest studies in the field of biological science. It is a unique endeavor to chisel and shape contemporary outlooks in biology. It's a biological magazine which dedicates to bringing the evolving facets of biology to its wide gamut of readers. We focus on helping our readers to gain better understanding of the fundamental concept in biology and develop on that. It is undertaken by the biologist and for the growing biologist. We have a lot to offer to all the scholars, including recent advances, news, career guidance, and a unique platform where researchers can voice their problems and opinion. The content are designed to give the students an insight into planning their career ahead and also give them opportunities and updates in both academic and industrial segments. Our vision is instill a deeper understanding of biology in our readers and to keep them updated with the ongoing advances in this field. We aspire to give our readers a platform where they can find reliable career guidance and also prepare for their future challenges. We bring academy and industry under the same umbrella. BioFrontier envision to create a knowledge and information pool for the biologists of tomorrow. We intend to cater to the needs of aspiring biologists and researchers alike. Our team believes that biologists can achieve more if they're able to well-informed decision at the right crossroads in their career path. Our mission is to be forum for the constructive growth of life science research in the country. Here, researchers will find a cutting-edge techniques and contemporary advances in biology. Our aim to nurture the young generation in the field of biological science. We intend to cater to the needs of aspiring biologists and researchers. Now, I wish you all good luck for all the future conversation. And I request Dr. Kavit Mehta, Ji, the editor-in-chief of our BioFrontier magazine, to take over from this. And I request you to please stay healthy in this pandemic situation. Dr. Kavit, sir.
Yes, sir. First of all, I would like to thanks to my kind words for accepting our invitation for this in this pandemic situation. Where for your Dr. C.G. Joshi, sir, has be your kind words for encouragement, guidance, and advice to entire Gujarat fraternity in biological sciences. And definitely your kind words will be helpful for all biological sciences fraternity. And I'm also welcoming you, Dr. Neeraj Singh, Associate Professor and Head Biotechnology Department, ANPG Institute, and Vigyan Gurjari, Secretary. I'm also welcoming you, that is Dr. Amit Palani, my colleagues and editor-in-chief for in this BioFrontier magazine, and last but not least, that our publishers, and that's the main behind that is the entire activity on publisher Sri Dipanjan Mukherjee, sir. So I'm thank you, C.G. Joshi, sir, for your express your gratitude, and I would, on behalf of BioFrontier and Vigyan Gurjari, I'm expressing my gratitude under your gratitude and appreciate for your leadership. Under your leadership, you are doing as a very excellent job for as a in pandemic situation in this COVID-19. At this onset, I also congratulate Dr. C.G. Joshi, sir, for scientific leap in the sequencing of novel coronavirus by GBRC. And same in this situation, many scientists and even CM and PMO also feel that it will be helpful for rapid development of a vaccine against novel coronavirus. So thank you once again, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Amit Palani, sir. So over to Amit, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So now we are coming to the most exciting part for which we all are here. Sir, at the onset, I would like to congratulate you for this great scientific achievement of submission of so many sequences of SARS-CoV-2. So my question is, what you want to say on this sequencing achievement and what will be its future implications?
When we are considering any virus or any pathogen for that matter, if you know its genome architecture, then it will help us to understand its biology. It will also help us how the organism or pathogen is interacting with the host, and in this interaction, a after understanding this infection, we can devise the remedial measures in terms of drug or vaccine. So sequencing of any pathogen, and in this pandemic, it is the COVID-19 virus, sequencing was very, very essential.
Sir, how many sequences so far you on behalf of GBRC have submitted, and what is the scenario, global scenario of this entire viral genome sequencing?
Globally, as on today, more than 75,000 sequences have been submitted from various laboratories from different countries. If you come to Gujarat, GBRC is the only laboratory in Gujarat who has taken up this responsibility of sequencing COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 virus genomes. And for that, we covered almost every part of Gujarat wherever the incidences of infections were, COVID infections were there. So we collected samples from every part of Gujarat and we have sequenced the virus.
Sir, every major exercise or every major event have so many stories, so many challenges associated with it. So, as a team leader, what were your experiences for this entire sequencing exercise during the lockdown one times when everyone was frightened about this particular coronavirus in general, and handling the same virus for, as a sample and other things? Was it usable for you or it was very different?
So when lockdown was announced, we and everyone from GBRC also went home. Suddenly, on 30th March, we received message from Chief Minister's office, and we had meeting with the Honorable Chief Minister, and he told that GBRC and as a Gujarat, we should do something in this pandemic, or how biotechnology can help in combating this pandemic situation. So that was the one-line message we received from Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, and we started gearing up for that challenge. And first thing was, everyone has left for their hometown. So first and foremost thing was to bring back all the volunteers, because everyone would not like to work in this situation. So those volunteers, and also having the expertise in biotechnology, core expertise in biotechnology and sequencing. So we gathered everyone from all over the Gujarat. Some have moved up to the Verawad and Junagadh and Amreli and the Surat. So from this distance, we arranged to pull them back to GBRC. At GBRC also, the situation was not that easy and smooth because in the pandemic, there was no shops were open, and maintenance, daily livelihood also was a problem, was a question. So one front, that was in the laboratory, how to do the biotechnology work in the laboratory, and after coming home, how to make the livelihood at home. So it was really a challenging situation, and simultaneously it was very exciting also.
Sir, it is really amazing that GBRC under your able leadership has outnumbered many big labs or research organizations. So was it intended right from the beginning, or it happened gradually as you keep on doing the things?
So, as I told, on 30th we had meeting with the Honorable Chief Minister, and then on the 1st we started gearing up for the biotechnological application for this pandemic. And first thing that come to our mind, that is sequencing this virus. For that we collected the sample. First sample we collected from Rajkot. So our team went to Rajkot and collected the sample. That we collected on 4th of April. And on 5th we started sequencing experiment. And couple of runs we made on the MySeq instrument. And it was very frustrating situation, because in first 3 runs we could not generate sequences. We could generate plenty, but out of this sequence, the viral sequences were very meager, and it was not in. We are not in position to assemble any virus genome, even a single virus genome. In the 4th run, we changed the strategies. We removed all the possible contaminants, that is the host RNA we removed, and then we carried out the sequencing run, and fortunately we could assemble one first virus genome, and that we declared on the 16th of April. We declared first viral genome. After that, and that was acknowledged by the Chief Minister Office and Chief Minister himself. After that, we decided for the good epidemiological work, we should sequence 100 virus samples from across the Gujarat. So that was the target we set of 100 virus genomes, and within 1 month, we could complete the 100 virus genome sequencing. Then when we met Chief Minister, then he told, we discussed that Government of India is considering sequencing 1,000 virus genome. Then Chief Minister told us, then we can contribute at least 25% of that. That is 250 genomes we should sequence. And we took up that as a target, and we completed 250 genome sequencing. Then once that 250 genome sequencing was over, and meanwhile we were also asked the question that how this virus is infecting one person more, and then other person is totally asymptomatic. What could be the reason for that? And we consider a project, that is the genotyping the patients and sequencing the virus, and then finding what is the association between this virus mutation and the host genotypes. And that way we increase the target from 250, and now so far we have completed 470 viral genomes, and next week we will be crossing the mark of 500. And simultaneously we have also started genotyping the patient samples also.
So that's really wonderful, sir. But besides this entire strategic movement, what were the other challenges that you might have faced during the sequencing process, keeping the lockdown situation? I mean to ask, managing the lab peoples, managing the samples, convincing the patients. So was there some challenges in these regards? And if there were, so please share.
So first thing was to convince the lab members that you are the people absolute necessary for this work. And fortunately, most of them, 90% people, we could convince them, yes, they are required in the laboratory. Once they have agreed, then the question was wherever they were staying, the society or the community should allow them to work on COVID. Otherwise, we had heard several incidences, even the medical care people also, they were not allowed to stay in the societies or in the community. So challenge I mentioned that how to make their sustenance, because all these shops, restaurants, everything was closed. And during that period, to have the tea, coffee, and meals was also a challenge. So that also we overcome. And then next challenge was to because the sequencing is highly a technical job, and to achieve that we require very sophisticated consumables, and unfortunately all we have to import. Okay, so importing the consumables for the sequencing, that was another challenge. And really it is the administration support that we could get, and because of that import of these consumables was possible within the shortest time of 1 week. Okay. Otherwise, in routine course, it is taking almost 21 to 6 weeks. That is the time they normally take. And during COVID situation, there were no routine flight operations were not there. In that condition, to get the consumables within 1 week, that is something unimaginable.
So, sir, it appears that besides sequencing this tricky RNA genome, there were so many other challenges you faced for achieving this particular feat. Sir, it was very amazing when this entire sequences were released, and I have seen all those news, and we could see the smile and pride on the face of CM when the sequencing information was released officially, and you were also standing beside him. Sir, what was your feeling at that time?
See, only moment of satisfaction was that yes, biotechnology also can help in relieving the pains of the people. Every time, otherwise it is a question how biotechnology or biotechnological research is useful for the society. So that was the real life experience we were having, and it was very much satisfactory.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my next question is on the outcome of this entire sequencing exercise, and what outcomes or things you feel still needs to be explored in terms of vaccine or even drugs or medicines for the COVID treatment.
So when we are sequencing any virus or pathogen, mainly it is helpful, as I mentioned earlier, to understand its biology and host pathogen interaction, and also the developing drugs as well as vaccine also. So when we are developing vaccine, particularly the traditional vaccine or the recombinant and the advanced technological vaccines, we should have a thorough information of the virus genome. If you are developing a recombinant vaccine, and this vaccine, we have not considered the prevalence of mutations that is existing, circulating in the circulating virus, then probably it may not be that effective, or it may not be effective at all. So when we are developing a recombinant vaccine, we should consider the mutations that are existing in the circulating virus, as well as when we are developing a drug. It will be very helpful in the initial screening. because any drug or molecule that you are considering or targeting, very well you can analyze using docking whether this molecule will be having any direct effect or interaction with the virus, and it can stop the replication of the virus. So this sequence information is really going to help very much for those who are in the drug development or the vaccine development.
So nowadays, there is excitement, and there are certain official and unofficial reports also about various Ayurvedic medicines and certain spices and condiments for overall immunity boosting against this virus. So, sir, do you feel that such medicines can play a better role in our combat against the virus? And does these sequencing information can give some certain insights there also?
Yes, when we are considering Ayurveda, then the Ayurveda medicine normally helps boost the general immunity of the body, and that way it is helping the patient or the individuals to overcome the stress and the build up the immunity and combat the infections. But in this particular case, what we took up the exercise, that is Ayush Mantralaya declared some of the compounds, some of the combinations they recommended that they can be used in the COVID-19 situation. Those compounds we thought of analyzing with the virus using the advanced bioinformatic tool, that is docking, and we consider all 16 proteins of the virus, and then the active compounds of this Ayurveda preparations, and then in this docking study we could find that these compounds not only or they may be playing role in general boosting the immunity, but they were directly interacting with the viral proteins, and their interaction score was much better than the other compounds that are used or being practiced in other system of medicine. So particularly the ST Madhuvati, ST Madhu, and that is the Chetimad in Gujarati, and Glycyrrhiza, that is the English name for that one. So that scored the topmost, and out of 16 proteins, almost with 14 proteins, it was giving very good interaction score, and that means this Ayurvedic compound can directly interact with the virus, and it can hold the replication of this virus.
Sir, this is really very interesting thing that you have just told. So, does it pave the way, or does it emphasize the need of genomics in the country like never before?
So yes, normally Vaids they are telling that the medicine they prescribe, Ayurvedic compound they prescribe, that is based on the prakriti of the individuals, that is what is Vata, Kapha and Pitta, and beyond that also they are analyzing this prakriti, and based on that they prescribe the medicine. Now, when we consider this prakriti, that is normally coming from the genetic makeup of the individual. So this genetic makeup is nothing but if you genotype these individuals, then you can identify their prakriti based on the genotypes, and based on these genotypes you can prescribe the medicines that are suitable for that condition. So definitely genomics is can be very, very helpful for this practice, Ayurveda practice.
Sir, based on your same studies, that there was some good scores from these compounds from Ayurvedic medicines. So this knowledge of sequence recognize or identify some candidate drug molecules for the development of effective drug against COVID, sir?
So, so these results we discussed with the Ayurvedic practitioners, and to our surprise, they were actually using this medicine in their prescriptions. But when we told that this is the docking score of the medicine that we are prescribing with the COVID virus, and their confidence boosts like anything. They felt that okay, whatever now we are prescribing, that and that is that is having the real effect on the virus itself. So that boost up their confidence and the treatment that they were prescribing. Otherwise, also they were doing this job, but with the help of our analysis, their confidence went up like anything.
So that is really, it's a very wonderful thing, because there are certain critics who are telling that whatever Ayurveda people are claiming, it is just a false claim or stuff like that. So definitely your studies and your outcomes are going to boost the morale of all the Ayurvedic practitioners. And now there is a growing need of all these researches and their integration with the Ayurveda and all those components that they are prescribing, not just for COVID, but for other medical complications or diseases also. Sir, when we were going through the results that are there, and initially when there was some mortality issues, even in Gujarat, so you have given uh, that there are certain strains, H type and L type strains are there, and it was being there were certain reports in the newspapers that a particular strain like L is having high mortality. So is it so, sir? Can you elaborate on this?
So this is the it was Chinese study, and in the early time of this pandemic, and in that they told that they identified that two mutations they are causing from S type to L type of the strain. They claim that it is strain, but later on it was found that those mutations are established in the virus, and mostly you will find the L type of virus only. So it is very difficult to say that it is the L type is less harmful or less dangerous. L type is more causing more mortality. Like that, associations are difficult to get unless a plant study is conducted.
Okay, sir. So actually, people are waiting for that news also. And sir, what is your opinion on the vaccine trials which are going on? And a few Indian companies have got permission also, and people are looking for the release of the vaccine against the coronavirus. Sir, what is your view on this entire release of vaccine, and that too by an Indian company? So, what is your opinion on this?
So naturally, it is a welcome step, and everyone is expecting, and it is one tool, one weapon that will help mankind to fight against this COVID-19 pandemic. India is having the capability of manufacturing the virus vaccine, and it is possible even to develop more than one type of vaccine because the capability of the Indian laboratories is there, and sometimes in the future pandemics, probably the virus will be, the vaccine will be originating from India only, or major component or major contribution from vaccine production will be from India.
That's really, sir, a very nice thing to happen, as you are telling. One thing that we miss, sir, about how many sequences so far GBRC have submitted, and the diversity that you have seen. This is my question one. And another question is that do you feel all the facilities that were there in GBRC when we talk about biosafety levels, so were they up to the marks, or we need some improvisations?
So while dealing with this virus sequencing, we took utmost care and followed all the biosafety regulations, and I'm proud to say that we have not had any holiday during lockdown. All days we were working during lockdown, and after that also. But so far, not a single case has come positive from our lab. So that means whatever practice that we are following to avoid the virus infection was satisfactory. So far, we have submitted 470 plus virus sequencing, and we will be crossing 500 mark in next week. But important thing so far, no one has noticed and published, that is the mixed infections. We have reported the first mixed infection, and in the patient, mixed infection means one patient will be having more than one type of virus, and that is called cross-species also. So more than one type of virus in one patient, that is mixed infection, and we started reporting that in April as well as May, and over the period of time we are seeing that the incidences of mixed infection are increasing. That means the people are contracting the infection from more than one source.
This is really very interesting, sir, because what we were thinking, one person is getting only one kind of virus at a time. So this concept of misinfection and having more than one viral type in one patient, it is really, it might be worrisome. It tells about the rate at which virus is changing itself. Now, sir, those particular things, what is the role of the polybasic site in the spike protein for this code, the spike protein, sir?
The basic amino acid is responsible for the cleavage site, and normally this concept came from the avian influenza, in that when it is polybasic, then the severity of infection is more, and that's why they classified as the low pathogenic avian influenza, and when it is polybasic, then it is high pathogenic avian influenza. So, when it is monobasic, only one type of the protease, that is the tempest, that is temp SSR, that is working on that one. But when there are more than one basic site, that is polybasic sites are there, then more than one protease, that is apart from purine, the trypsin and other proteases also will be cleaving. So cleavage of spike protein, that is the first step for the infectivity of the virus. And when more than one protease can cleave the spike protein, then infectivity naturally will increase. When we are considering monobasic, then only one protease that is typically present in the one system, that is either alimentary tract or airspace, that is respiratory tract. Only one type of protease will be there. But when polybasic sites are there, then different protease present in the different system. Say, for example, the neuroendocrine system also. You are seeing now the infections, they are occurring. We have sequenced a couple of samples that are on the neurological symptoms also. So that means when it is polybasic, then the spread of infection also will be more, and the severity also will be more.
And sir, what about the replication transcription complex? How do they temporarily and functionally coordinates during the various stages in the virus life cycle? And how we can, that knowledge can help us in any, our improvisation for our strategy for vaccine or drug.
So when virus is infecting any host cell, then it has mainly two functions to do. That is, one is synthesize all required proteins for its structure, and another thing is the replicating its own genome. So these two functions are mandatory for any virus to propagate or replicate, reproduce. So this replication transcription complex, it's really a complex phenomena, and then some of the part of the genome, they are and they are synthesizing the viral proteins. And these proteins again help in replicating the viral genome. And once they are on the ER, that is endoplasmic reticulum, they are present on that, and then from that they are transported to Golgi apparatus, and where the virus particle is assembled and then again released from the host cell. So the entire the replication and the transcription process is really a complex for the virus.
Okay, sir. And then in the next part, again, we will be with Professor C.G. Joshi with a new set of questions.
Very good morning to all, and welcome to once again for session 2. In the part session 1, sir will be excellent discuss with us the excellent journey between that is be journey during lockdown. Is be how the sir and his team is be doing that is be excellent as be in the work did that by GBRC and motivate to entire Gujarat. So, sir, now I would like to discuss with us a few general question from you. That is, from last few months, you are serving as a director GBRC. And can you, sir, tell to us or in the entire audience to something about GBRC and its activity?
For last 24 months, I am working with the GBRC, and my reputation tenure was to over by this August. But government extended for another 2 years. So again, for 24 more months, I will be with the GBRC.
Welcome to entire Gujarat Biological Sciences Scientific Fraternity to session 2, session 2 interior. And with us is Dr. C.G. Joshi, Director GBRC. Sir has been say part 1 interview shared that exciting journey in this journey between this COVID-19 situation, the sequencing and how it's did that is the work and technical aspects, and very well explained that. And we all are motivated, and that it's an excellent job done by team of GBRC and under leadership of Dr. C.G. Joshi, sir. So, sir, after this, sir, I would like to ask that in session 2, that it is a few couple of general questions. From last few months, you are serving as a director GBRC, Government of Gujarat. And can you tell something about GBRC and its activity?
So for last 24 months, I am with GBRC, and my tenure was to over by this August, but government again extended this term for another 2 years. That is for 24 more months, I will be with GBRC. The main mandate of GBRC is to carry out research that is on this state needs, whatever state problems are there in different areas, say for example, healthcare or agriculture or animal sector or the industry or environment or the marine research. So in all the field, whatever problems are there, how to overcome this problem using the biotechnological approaches. So, and for that, either we need to develop product or prototype or process and to solve this problem. So this is the main mandate of GBRC as an institute.
Excellent, sir. This is in the GBRC is doing an excellent job in Gujarat in field of life sciences for scientific research. So, as a sir, you serving as a leader of in the GBRC and main behind this research typhoon. So, I would like to that is in your scientific career, which endeavors was most tough and satisfying for you?
So when I joined GBRC, I could see the one task that was lying before me, that was making GBRC a shared facility. The meaning of shared facility means the whatever infrastructure is there present in the GBRC, that should be accessible to each and every student, faculty, and industry of Gujarat, so that they can make maximum use of this one. This was the task I was to take up, and that was most near to my heart, because when I was at Anand Agricultural University also, we had done the same job. That is, whatever infrastructure was available, we opened it to all the students, faculties throughout the country. So we took up this shared facility, that is the prime objective, and we made it open. We shared facility. Anybody wants to use this facility, they can just log in to the website and register as the user, and they can book the instruments online. They can pay the charges. The charges are also very nominal. Students can use this facility by paying 50% discount, because whatever is the purchase cost of consumable, student need to pay only 50% of that, and they can use the facility. If it is faculty, they will pay the actual charges of the consumables that are required for that one, and industry will pay 1.5 times of the charges that we are paying for the procurement of these consumables. So with this nominal charges, we want to encourage students to use this facility. And just for want of the availability of instrumentation, good research should not stop. So that is the aim of the GBRC. Not GBRC, is the aim of the government of Gujarat. And we are trying to come to that, fulfill their wish and requirement.
Amazing things for as a good researcher and the person who did as a good research, and every time as a researcher is a very challenging task for as a opportunity with the how very they to their facility and where they be go for that is be performing work on that. So it's a very amazing works you did for that is the entire Gujarat state. In connection with that, sir, I would like to ask you what are your new plans and initiatives for GBRC at GBRC for scientific fraternity in field of biological sciences?
So because the opportunity we got to work during this pandemic period, and we were sufficient in position to impress the government of Gujarat, and now government of Gujarat has agreed to provide a separate lab for GBRC. So land is allotted for that, and the money is also allocated for the building of the GBRC laboratory. Along with that, state government is also thinking, because during this pandemic we could understand we do not have and for the drug development as well as the was a major handicap, and the government realized that, and now once it is the most of the BSL-3 category virus and bacteria will be in position to handle. So, and the diseases that are falling in that risk group, all the scientists of Gujarat will be in position to carry out research on this category of risk group of virus and bacteria.
Great, sir. Thank you, sir, for joining with us and accepting our invitation for us for motivate and encourage to our researcher and to UG and PG research and very young scientist or a young scholar. So at last, I would like to ask you, what type of your message you convey the message for young mind who has been about has been doing that research in or career opportunity in field of biological science in specific, either in general or either in field of any specific in genomics or etc. So this.
So what I think is whatever young people they are in the field of biology or in field of biotechnology, the important thing is they should remain updated and they should try to acquire as many skills as possible. Once they are having the thorough knowledge of the subject and the required skills, I think there is no dearth of opportunities in the field of life science. But what we find that while we are conducting interviews for the jobs also, the level of knowledge that is not sufficient and the skills that they are having, skill set they should be having for the job, they are also not sufficient. We 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 invite these young people to come and make use of the GBRC facilities and train themselves, equip themselves for the bigger challenges. In the shared facility, when we started, very few clients or very few users that they got registered, and we analyzed this situation and could find that in shared facility is mandatory that users should use this instrument of their own, and because of that many users were not coming forward. So what we started is the training programs for each and every instrument they are under the shared facility. We started training programs for this instrumentation, and so far we have conducted 12 training programs, and we trained the people how to use this instrumentation and make these instruments useful in the research. So I again invite these young minds, young budding scientists to make use of the GBRC facility, as well as they should equip themselves for the recent trends or recent technologies whichever are prevailing in this field of biotechnology.
Thank you, sir. So definitely, I hope that is the young buddy scientists is we all are motivated, and that is we do that is we get best facility in Gujarat is be available at GBRC. So again, that's we sir what we say that so GBRC you can young buddy scientists and all researcher can take advantage and then as we more explore and enhance the skill for in nation development and capacity building for nation. So thank you, sir. And now I would like to invite Dr. Sri Dipanjanji for as a vote of thanks.
Thank you very much for speaking on major things which we are facing nowadays during this pandemic situation. Special thanks to Dr. C.G. Joshi, sir, for his valuable time, effort you took to share your thoughts and experiences with us. Since we are entering a new phase of digitalization, your comments were very timely, and I believe it will benefit all the readers and our audience. I would also like to thank our Editor-in-Chief of BioFrontiers, Dr. Amit Bhalani ji, and Dr. Kavit Mehta for organizing such a tremendous event within a short period of time. Organizing such event will boost our energy and our focus towards the great and reach of this magazine and message toward the scientific community during this situation. A very, very heartful thank you to Dr. C.G. Joshi, sir, for his valuable time and attending this event. And the transcript of this interview will be published in our upcoming edition of BioFrontier under BioChronicle section, and will display the interview on our social media pages and our official website as well. So thank you once again. Thank you very much for all your time, and special thanks to Dr. C.G. Joshi, sir. Thank you, sir.